Meantime, let's switch gears and get back to the matters of policy, which are obviously a lot more light. President Trump sounding off on Harvard after a judge blocked the administration's attempt to bar the university from enrolling international students.
Part of the problem with Harvard is that there are about 31%, almost 31% of foreigners coming to Harvard. I'm not going to have a problem with foreign students, but it shouldn't be 31%. It's too much because we have Americans that want to go there and to other places, and they can't go there because you have 31% foreign. Now, no foreign government contributes money to Harvard. We do. So why are they doing so many?
A political strategist, Tiffany Marie Brannon, joins me now live in the flesh in studio up from D.C. and her travels around our great nation. Tiffany, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Look, Harvard and a lot of the people defending Harvard are going to say these foreign students pay full freight. They pay full tuition, and that allows many American students to, I don't want to say go for free, but get subsidized, get scholarships. And quite frankly, Harvard's going to say it allows us to keep the lights on. What say you?
Well, the reality is that Harvard's received $3 billion in federal funding. Now, DHS has asked Harvard, hey, we would like a record of these foreign students to see what activities they've done that could potentially be dangerous or hurt foreign security, national security, and could potentially be anti-Semitic against Jewish students. Harvard has refused to comply. Harvard has 7,000 students on visas, and as President Trump said, 31% of the student population. What about American students that are here in this country who love this nation and who really want to study there? They're taking those opportunities from American kids.
But bigger issue here. You mentioned this. I don't know if it's like an official list that says student X did this thing, student Y did this, but wouldn't you want the help of the federal government policing your campus so that it does not become what we've seen at Columbia? It seems like I'd want that help to make sure that 99.9% of the students that are on campus just trying to get an education, get ready for a job later on in life, have the ability to do that without all this noise.
Absolutely. In fact, I was just working with a refugee from Darfur who came here, had a Harvard scholarship, and loves this country and loves America. And so when you see the contrast to that and how he doesn't want crazy people coming to study at his school, and he's worked so hard to get in that school, and taking away from his studies. So it's not even just American students, it's foreign citizens who are coming to here to study, who truly care about the academic setting.
That's a good point. Meantime, Original Sin co-author Alex Thompson joined Fox News Sunday to shed more light on the attempt to hide Joe Biden's decline. Listen to this.
Throughout 2023 and 2024, there were steps taken to increasingly shield Joe Biden, not just from the public, but from members of his own cabinet, members of his own senior staff. And one White House official who left in 2024 told us that they left in part because they were not comfortable with how they were trying to shield the extent of the decline.
Okay, it's clear by now to anyone with a pulse that unelected leaders were running this country for the prior 4 years before Donald Trump, and that is a complete violation of the Constitution, our democracy, everything the Democrats always raise their fist and shake about. But will there be consequences? Will there be real consequences to those who basically took over our government? Or is this just going to be, hey, it made it into a book, let's move on to the next crazy, shiny object in the room?
I think, if anything, what it's really done is drive home the reality that fake news was real, propaganda press existed, and the left utilized that to push a complete lie on the American people, because at the end of the day, they would rather have a man with stage 4 cancer and cognitive decline have the title president than actually, and in doing that, watch the country burn down, essentially, than do something like tell the truth because it might have helped President Trump win the election. And that's putting the American people last.
You mentioned the cancer. You are in D.C. on the ground. Is the prevailing sentiment that he had this cancer prior to the announcement last week?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, I've read some few articles in terms of the medical background to it, and you cannot get this far into this type of cancer without there being blood work evidence long before this type of announcement. So when you see that, you really have to wonder, like, they can deny it, but, they always say follow the science. What kind of science are we following?
Look, the fact of the matter is there are unanswered questions, and this isn't somebody's like HIPAA report. This is real national security and constitutional questions that are presenting themselves here. We do need those answers. And so I think what Congress is doing, trying to get those answers. Also, I think to the question I asked you, there need to be consequences because we cannot have this happen again.
No.
Before we let you go, I want to get your final thoughts on this. Colorado Democrat Senator Michael Bennet says he's furious with his own party. Listen.
I don't think nationally the Democratic brand helps very much anyway. I mean, anywhere. If it did, we wouldn't have lost to Donald Trump twice. You know, I know a lot of supporters of mine and friends of mine are furious at Donald Trump. I am. Are furious at people they think aren't standing up enough to Donald Trump. I am. But I'm also furious at the Democratic Party that has lost twice to Trump.
Okay, we've heard this a few times from some leaders in the party. So if the Democrats know they are failing, why do they continue to refuse, we're now at Memorial Day, to dump the policies that have gotten them in this mess? It seems like they're like, we stink, we're horrible, yet they continue with the same policies.
Oh, absolutely. And they keep focusing on branding. They keep thinking that branding's their problem. No. Policies are your problem. And they have no concept of the consequences their policies have forced upon the United States. And they truly believe, like, he can be furious at Donald Trump all he wants, but the fact of the matter is the people voted for Donald Trump. You look at his home state of Colorado, the crime is out of control. In the San Luis Valley alone, the cops are too scared to drive through there. They just got a serial killer named Psycho who murdered 5 people, and this is in Colorado. So for someone that, you know, really wants to run for governor and all of a sudden wants to try to come out in all his glory, you know, saying, oh, the Democrats, it's our brand. It's not your brand, sir. It's the fact that you do not stand up for the American people or your own home state.
It's crazy. There's so many, millions, I'd say, Democrats and independents who want to vote Democrat. They want to put that ballot box vote for a Democrat, yet they can't. They're like, we have to go with the Republican because the Democrats are so far in left field. It's wild to watch, and they still haven't figured it out.
They still haven't figured it out. It's
Tiffany
hilarious.
Marie Brannon, thank you for figuring out your way to the studio. I'm not implying that you had trouble here. We're just happy that you're here.
I did get a little lost,
Stop
but thanks
it.
for having
It's fine.
me.
Tiffany, thank you so much.